Okay, so this video is going to be my honest opinion of a guy who I think is one of the best wrestlers in WWE. That's Dolph Ziggler. And as you just heard me say, Dolph Ziggler is one of the best wrestlers in the company. He can sell like nobody's business. He's very good at ring psychology. He can put people over like nobody's business. To that end, when I think about Dolph Ziggler, I think about a guy from the 80s and 90s by the name of Tito Santana. If you don't know who he is, go to the WWE Network, $9.99 a month. Check him out. There's your cheap plug, WWE. Tito was always a guy who... Tito was a tag team champion. Tito was an Intercontinental champion. But he never broke through to the big one. He never was WWE champion. A large part of that could be because he was in the Hulk Hogan era. We all know all about that. But let's face it. Every time WWE has tried to push Dolph Ziggler past the Intercontinental title, it has not worked out. Either because of injury, most of the time, or just because it just didn't connect. Dolph will always be one of those guys that is sort of what Scott Hall was in the mid-90s. Razor Ramon was always referred to as the gatekeeper. He was the head of the mid-card, but you need to get by him before you elevate it to the Shawn Michaels, the Bret Harts, the Undertakers, to that world title echelon. And I think that's what Dolph is to the WWE now. He is that guy that you have to beat before you can get to the main titles. And there's nothing wrong with having a guy like that, because Dolph is the perfect prototypical Intercontinental champion. Dolph is the perfect guy to, if you need a guy to get over, if you need a guy that is going to make himself look good and make his opponent look good, Dolph is that guy you can throw in the ring with anyone and he can get a decent match out of him. He's, to pardon a line, when they used to always talk about Shawn Michaels, you could put him in the ring with a broomstick, and Dolph could have a decent match with the broomstick. Now, it's funny I bring up Shawn Michaels. One of my issues with Dolph Ziggler over the years is I feel like he hasn't done enough to make himself Dolph Ziggler. When I look at Dolph, I see two people. I see Shawn Michaels and I see Mr. Perfect. And that's in large part because he uses a lot of their moves. And I don't think he does enough to separate himself from those two. You know, I think he likes the comparisons, even though he may act like he doesn't. But that's the problem. In all the years that Dolph has been with the company, I don't think that we have seen the true Dolph Ziggler, because I think he's at least subconsciously trying to be Shawn Michaels, subconsciously trying to be Mr. Perfect. I mean, let's face it, when he doesn't have his hair in a bun, and after about a 10-20 minute match, when he stands up and his hair is going every which way, I can't tell whether it's Dolph Ziggler or Mr. Perfect in the ring. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, if you want to emulate two superstars, who better to emulate than Kurt Hennig and Shawn Michaels? And I think that might be part of the reason that he's never taken that next step, is because, like I said, I feel like I don't even know who Dolph Ziggler is. Because he's too busy, at least subconsciously, being Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect. That being said, like I said, he's one of the best wrestlers in the company. I hope he never goes anywhere because, like I said, every company needs that mid-card workhorse superstar that is good at getting people over, is good at selling, and nobody sells like Dolph Ziggler in that company. Anyway, guys, this is just a brief video on what I think of Dolph. You'll see more of these. You'll see, opinions on individual superstars. I'm going to do top 10s once a month or once a week. I'm going to try to do reviews of shows. Yeah, so there you go.